Yo, yo.
Hey,
What up,
what's up, guys?
Man, good to see you.
Good to see you guys. How's it going?
Going pretty good.
Going pretty good considering.
Yeah, man.
How was it down there in Tennessee?
It's pretty quiet, pretty chill.
Yeah.
I mean, we're quarantined like y'all are, but
Yeah,
we're in the country, so it's a little more chill than New York.
good. That's good. It's too crazy out here in New York City.
Yeah, New York is crazy, man. How you doing out
Yeah.
there?
We're holding up all right, man. My family's good. You know, we're trying to get out every now and then, but it's wild, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
This
thanks
song,
again.
it's crazy. I'm from New York. I ain't never seen no shit like this. I don't know.
Well, man. Well, thank you guys for joining me once again for another interview. One of your biggest supporters, and man, I was listening to your guys' album again today, American Griots, and I just got to say, listening back to that thing, man, that album is a masterpiece. I got to say, a musical masterpiece, and I don't think it's really gotten the appreciation it deserves because just the musicality, the instrumentation, the vocals, the uniqueness of the sound, like everything all combined, it sounds like nothing we've gotten ever.
Man,
And I just want to give you guys props.
Thank you.
Just reflect on that album a bit. It's been out for a little while now. What do you remember about, creating it?
Well, it was creative freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the reason we became Louis York and moved to Nashville was to be able to just be a little bit more of ourselves. And we, because you've been supporting, we put out the EPs, Masterpiece Theater, Act 1 and 2 and 3. And that was just us, letting the world know that we are a band.
Right.
And getting used to, the crazy twists and turns that music does. But American Griots is, fully realized.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's the songs as we want them. The arrangements are sick. I mean, there's live horns and strings and all the stuff that we wanted to put in there.
Yeah.
So it's all our lessons in one album, but it's the kind of crazy masterpiece that we wanted people to get and know Louis York for.
Yeah.
Right. And I just love that you can't even define it to one genre. You've got so many types of sounds on this project. It's like I said, nothing we've heard in a while, and probably nothing we will hear. And that's what I respect so much about it and about you guys. You were unafraid to just follow your dream and your direction. I love that.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, to us, what are you doing if you're not challenging yourself and making the best music of your life?
Right.
And we wanted to finally put out a true representation of who we are as musicians. A lot of times we get boxed into a certain thing, and so people don't get the full breadth of the kinds of musician we are.
Right.
And so we wanted to use American Griots as the beginning of us putting out a legit calling card of who we are as musicians and creative people.
Right. And what's the support been like? I mean, I know it's sometimes challenging when your music doesn't fit into a box, trying to define it to one genre. I mean, we're an R&B site, and we love your music because it's kind of, some of it's rooted in R&B, but we love it all as a whole, just as music. But what's it like getting support all around?
It's been great, man. We've been able to actually spread our wings with American Griots. One song took us to the Today Show. Mm-hmm. One song took us to the Grand Ole Opry. Don't You Forget is doing pretty good. How Will I Feel did pretty good on the radio for a while. So
Velvet is the crowd favorite.
Velvet is the crowd favorite, and so we're an independent label. So as far as commercial success, we let the music take us where it want to take us. We don't try to put ourselves in the box with expectations. We kind of just let the creativity take us where it want to take us, and it take us to some amazing places. Yeah. I never would have thought that we get to do the Grand Ole Opry.
No.
That's that black men get to do. Especially not doing country music. We a country band, and we were able to do that and get called back to do it again. It's those kind of things that gives us the inspiration to keep going, because that's what musicians' path is supposed to be. You're supposed to spread your wings. You're supposed to do things and let the art take you and let you land where you're supposed to land.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I got to say, I love the cover you have on the end of the album. You got to be, love that song. And you really did that one justice.
Yeah, thank you, man.
We never do covers. So you don't see us online doing covers. We create songs for other people to cover. So it was a pretty big, I wouldn't say a risk, but it was a pretty big jump for us to come out of our own creative box and do something. But the song kept on popping up while we were recording the album. We saw the video. we kept hearing it and kept referring to how it felt. And so at the last minute, we were like, let's put our spin on this. And we definitely tried to respect it, but also put our spin on it.
Yeah.
Right. Great job on that one.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
You know, I remember when you guys first kicked off Louis York. I think it was been about 5 years now. And I remember this awesome event you guys put on. I think it was in like an old church or something. It was some strange venue that I've never been to.
Angel Orange, that was a synagogue in
the
Lower East Side. That was
I thought that was so epic.
Sexy?
That was amazing. I've never been to an event like that, so you know, it was awesome.
We had a harpist. Yeah, we had a harpist. We had all kind of vibes.
Yeah,
we had on a little secret. That was the most money we had spent in one night.
Right, that was an expensive ass event.
The whole Louis York Weirdo Workshop train. That was the
But the thing is, we wanted to let people know off the bat that that's the bar.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to get to.
That's the kind of stuff. Expect that when you come to see a live show. Expect that when they were releasing music. Expect that when we introduce you to other artists that we're working with, so that you can. We just want people to understand that it's all about greatness and higher heights. So,
and that was the beginning.
That was the beginning.
And we've
Holy
grown
shit!
So much since then. Just in knowing who we are as musicians and as creators
and live performers,
the whole. So that was the beginning.
It's really epic stuff. I mean, so the album was last year. I mean, what do you guys have in store for, you know, up next? What are you thinking about doing next?
Well, we'll let you in a little secret.
The good part about it, we quarantined in a studio.
We're quarantining in our studio. So
it's awesome.
I mean, when you get Claude and Chuck in the studio and we're locked away, we create records. So I'm not sure we were planning. That wasn't the original plan, but obviously Corona had different plans for us. So we're halfway through our next album right now.
Yeah.
And it's
awesome.
Bonkers.
Yeah, it's way different, and I feel like we've elevated since American Griots. So you're gonna actually hear both. Yes,
which is exciting for us because we're just getting we know we're just getting started. We have so much going on in these brains of ours, and we're still writing. We've just been writing and creating and planning. We have some songs we're sending out to a few artists that we love.
Nice.
We're still writing for the very best. And we're working on the Shandellas. We're working on their debut album as well, which is going crazy.
Wow.
Bonkers.
Crazy. That's so dope. Looking forward to hearing that too. Yeah, that's epic. You know, something we love to do on the site when we do these interviews is reflect back a bit, talk a bit about the history. So if I could get each of you guys to reflect back on your first placement, you know, as a songwriter and as a producer, like what was your first placement? How'd you get it?
Jeez Louise, the first. Okay, all right. So my first placement. Oh wait, let me make sure I'm telling the truth. Hold on. the first. I would say notable placement was Frankie J. Columbia Records.
Right.
I wrote a song called "Daddy's Little Girl," and I met Frankie through Columbia and through a number of people, DJ Clue and a bunch of stuff I've been working with, and I ended up working with Frankie J. And that was the first time a song got cut and was on the album. It was a single. And ironically, he performed it on Regis and Kathy at the time. We're friends with her now, so it's kind of a full circle moment. But it was just a whole new world. I'd never seen a song of mine even be on an album that was coming out on a major label. So getting that placement gave me the fire I needed to know that I wasn't crazy and to actually keep on going.
Yeah.
Dope.
Mine was it was actually this artist named Paula Campbell. That's how I met Neo.
I know Paula.
Yeah, and so she had this song that Neo wrote called "Ain't Nobody Stupid." And I didn't give the track to the guy that got the track to Neo. For that, I gave it to him for Maya. He said he needed a track for Maya. And so I sent him that track. I guess he played it for Neo. Neo wrote something for his artist. So the mix-up, whatever mix-up happened, they was trying to exclude me from the situation. But not Neo, of course not. I'm not but the person that was passing that track around, and so they couldn't get the files without me, and that's how I got to meet Neo. Tango was like, well, whoever got the files, that's who did the track, and I had the Pro Tools file because I did the track, of course, but I met Neo, and that song came out. I forgot who she was signed to, and I don't know if the song did anything, but that was my first placement.
Wow. A great first taste of the industry. It almost like chew you up and spit you out, right?
Yeah, man. It's
shadiness.
And that's a part of it.
It's a crazy
That's a part of it.
Yeah, of course. So I was looking at your guys' discography and, trying to reconnect the dots of when you guys first started working together and looking at some of the hits you guys created together. If you don't mind me just taking through a couple of these, the first one I came across was Chrisette Michele's Blame It On Me. What do you guys remember about working together on that one?
It was literally the first time I met this guy.
Oh, yeah?
I was signed to Neo at the time, and so I was working out of the A Room at Compound Studios, and Steve Ferreira, though rest in peace, Steve, but he was an A&R in Def Jam, and I was doing work on Anastasia over in London. And he pulled me to the side. He was like, "Man, I got this artist that I think you'll be great with, and I'm gonna pair you with this pop writer, and what you do on the urban side and what he'll bring on the pop side he think it'll do something." And so literally Blame It On Me, he came down to Atlanta to work with me, and Blame It On Me and Fragile was the first two songs we wrote.
Wow.
The same day too.
Yeah.
I bet you guys never expected you'd be, working together like this now, from that first meeting.
I knew, most people, no, what I'm saying is like, most people don't know this about me because they think I'm just a producer, but I am a songwriter by nature.
You're a songwriter.
And so songwriting is what does it for me. And so when I first heard Neo write on my track, and when I first heard Claude write on my tracks, that's when I knew I was working with a special combination.
Wow. That's epic. And the rest is history, right?
The rest is history. I'm going to jump in because it wasn't that smooth, actually. All right, let's spill the tea here during quarantine time with I Got Soul. So to be fair, just actually, and to give ourselves some credit, when Chrisette was coming out that album, R&B was totally different. Yeah. So it was like, I don't remember who was out at the time, but it was a lot more synthetic pop, almost 4 on the floor, EDM stuff going on. And I believe it was already a risk that L.A. Reid had taken by even signing Chrisette during that time. So by the time we got to her on her second album, they wanted to take her crossover. So we went in, we did Fragile and Blame It On Me. And we had never worked together. It was our first time doing some serious work for L.A. Reid, and we wanted to obviously impress and get the cuts. We ended up doing 5 songs, but when we did Blame It On Me, we did record at Compound, and certain people in the building were, because nothing like that was out right now, so there's no guarantee it could work. Yeah, we didn't think those songs were gonna work, and so we weren't really sure either. So we sent all 5 songs into Steve Ferreira. I flew back to New York. Chuck stayed in Atlanta. I went to LA. You went to LA, and we were just basically like, we fucked this up. No one at the studio liked the songs. Nobody. No one there believed in it, so they're not gonna like it at Def Jam. We get this call from Steve Ferreira separately, but the exact same call. He's like, "All right, he's sitting down." We're like, "Yeah." He's like, "I have some good news, and I have some bad news." So I'm like, "What?" And now I'm like, my career is over. And he's like, the good news is that all 5 of these songs are fucking hits. Yeah. What's going on? Yeah. And I'm like, "What's the bad news?" And he's like, "The bad news is that L.A. Reid heard it and he loves it and he needs y'all to go back and finish the album."
Oh, wow.
I'm like, that's not bad news.
Yeah.
So that whole experience, I think, gave us both a jolt of confidence, because we totally went on a limb. Fragile was literally, there was no reference point that was happening on the radio. We were talking about the Supremes. Yeah. And it came out like that. And Blame It On Me it's pretty much a power ballad. Mm-hmm. And even now it's hard to get power ballads on the radio. But we did that song, I think it was like Steve, I want to say Steve Harvey. who heard it, heard a part of the album before it came out and was like, this is a hit. If you put this out, I'm putting this on the radio. And that's what kind of jump-started that whole Chrisette Epiphany movement, which is still, we listened to that record the other day, we're still proud of those songs.
Yeah, man.
That's amazing.
Some of our original creations, man. We are proud of those.
Mr. Right, all that stuff, Notebook.
Let me ask you guys this, and I mean this in the least shadiest way possible, but like I'm not trying to diss any artist, but you've worked with so many artists. Who have been the toughest, maybe the most demanding to work with, like in the studio, where it just hasn't, you know, I don't want to diss anyone or make anyone in a bad light, but who has it been tough to work with? Like they just, I don't know, maybe they just demand a lot, or is there any way to discuss that without putting anyone down or hurting any opportunities for you guys?
No.
No.
All right, we can move on.
I mean, we can keep it funky.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not. I was about to say, like, I haven't really had many bad studio experiences. Like,
That's fair.
First of all, I'm quiet in the studio, and me and Claude are really surgical. It's not like a lot of room for drama. It's kind of like we go to the piano, we come up with the idea. I go in my headphones, he go behind the mic, and then he record what he record, I record what we record, we put it together, and then the artists come, they sing it, and it's kind of, we Uber home. You know
we Uber the hell home.
You know and it was on purpose, you know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to be about business in the studio. I wanted to really be about me getting my creativity out. And so that's kind of you have a little rift here and there about a creative idea, but for the most part, nobody has been super difficult.
Now, I mean, we don't have no personal beefs with anybody in the business. We just really care about the best possible results. And so the only time it doesn't work out is if we don't see eye to eye on the work ethic, or like the possibilities. So I mean, there's no beef with anyone really.
Right.
If you want to answer, I will say this. I will say that Chuck and Claude should have way more hits with Fantasia. I'll leave it at that.
Well, yeah, we'll leave it at that. Shout out. Shout out to the song, the hit you did have with her, "Bittersweet." I mean, that's an amazing record that did come out. You remember that one?
Remember it well, yeah. That's why I'm saying we should have had way more hits with Fantasia. But, it's not. Sometimes crumbles not in your favor. But
and plus, to be fair, like we're not the songwriting producer team that ever chase trends. And a lot of times, when people are ready to put out an album, they chasing the trend, and so there's a disconnect right there, because I ain't about to chase no trend. Like I'm either gonna make the trend or I ain't gonna be part of the conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't chase nobody, and so I think a lot of times that's the disconnect. But we stay true. You know what I'm saying? We stay true to the bar that we set for our music. We stay true to the bar we set as it relates to integrity concerning music as a whole. Right. Because we fans of music first. And that's why we give our all to it.
Yeah.
Like if we was just trying to rape and pillage, then you have a whole nother discography filled with the latest sound from every era in my discography. But you don't see that. You see me following my heart on my discography the whole time.
100%.
The biggest thing is that Chuck and I respect music enough to know when it's not our place to be involved.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of producers and writers' problem, is they're just trying to write over everything, and artists are taking everything without actually A&Ring their projects. And so, like for example, like if I hear Tony Braxton's looking for records, and I love Tony Braxton, we both worked before, but I respect music to nothing that if I hear she's in with Babyface, then you don't need me.
You don't need me. You know what I'm saying?
You don't need my little janky
I can't wait to buy it.
Right. I want to hear it. Yeah. So if more people had respect for what was just the best possible scenario for their situation, and that means removing your ego sometimes. So there's some times when I would love to be working with an artist, but I'm not the best person because there's just the thing that's going on right here that's magic. Then you should follow that. And so the reason I said what I said is that when you get lightning in a bottle, you should always chase lightning in a bottle.
Chase it.
100%. Shout out to our guy Dollar in the house. He's been a big supporter of you guys and us as well.
Dollar knows music. Let me tell you.
He knows music.
He knows damn music.
Yes, he does.
We've been a fan of Dollars for a long
quite some time. So. That's the homie right there.
Yeah.
See, the Shindellas are in the house as well.
What up, Shindellas?
The Dells, the ladies.
So, I want to ask you guys about one more song though, and that's the Ledisi Pieces of Me. Remember doing that one?
Yeah, we just got off the phone with
Ledisi.
We did her podcast today. But
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ledisi is the homie. We did Pieces of Me at Chuck's studio in LA.
You feel me?
Vanilla Sky. And the thing about it, let me tell you the honest to God truth. We spend a lot of time doing songs. When we have time, we can spend hours just doing stuff. But some of our most crazy, innovative stuff has happened like under pressure.
Yeah.
And that was one of them. Like Ledisi came in the studio, and I don't know if we did. I don't know if we. Why did we? We just kind of got in like, let's create something.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, Chuck was just like, and I was like, "Fuck you." And it is like, it's like people just don't know. It just came right away.
Yeah. That one and
Bittersweet came out like
15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
top.
That's amazing.
She got it right away, and then she added her flair to it. And I mean, Ledisi is Ledisi, so. I'm proud of that song because I think it took her to a new heights as well that she deserved to be in as an artist.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we got a chance to see her performing with the Fifth Jubilee Singers right before the show.
That's the last thing we did before the quarantine was to see her at
and it was magical to see them singing and the band playing and her just doing that song. That song still feels good.
Yep.
Still love that song.
Yeah. Man.
As we wrap up this interview, I want to talk about your guys' album a little more. That song, Don't You Forget, we love that song. One of our favorites from last year. Man, I really think that song could have reached heights somehow, like somewhere. That should have reached the masses, I feel like. And it could. That song touched me. My wife heard it for the first time. She was going nuts. Like, that song is made to touch people. I just love that song.
You know what it is, man. We in this thing for the long haul.
Yeah.
And so that song it will touch the masses. You know what I'm
Amazing.
saying? We don't feel like, first of all, we're an independent label, and then secondly, we make art, and so art will find its way to people. And so even if it's not in our lifetime, somebody gonna sample it, somebody gonna read it. You know what I'm saying? It's a catalog thing for us.
Chuck always says that we're making new sampleable music. Not don't copy it now because we're still putting it out. But the idea is to make the kind of music that you can discover in a year, in a month, a year, in 10 years, and it'll still be literally classic for you. There's a lot of stuff that I discovered when I was a kid that was already vintage.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I discovered the Jackson 5.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a kid of the 80s, and they came out in the late 60s, early 70s. And you need to be making the kind of music that people can discover a generation from now, and you become a stan, because I became a stan.
Yeah.
So Don't You Forget, hopefully, is that kind of vibe.
And actually, I think the whole album is that way, because if you really listen to it, because it doesn't sound like anything that's out right now, people might not get it at first, but when they discover it later on, when it finally hits them, it's not disposable, is what it is. It's not disposable. So people probably can't even understand, because it's just so musical. There's so many elements. I just love the rave about this album, So I think that it definitely has a timeless quality, and people, once they catch on, man, I hope really they start spreading the word and it just blows up.
Yeah, man.
That's the goal, man. We appreciate you because you help us do that every single day.
Yeah.
We see the love. Like, we're on social media, it's us, and we know who's supporting. And not everyone you think it should be is. And so we respect the ones that really, really stick their neck out and champion for us. And I Got Soul has been real deal Holyfield.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate that, guys. So that's all the questions I got for you guys before we get out of here. Anything else you want to say?
No, man. Thank you for keeping the legacy of music alive the best way you can. We out in Nashville trying to do it our way, and so together, I just feel like music it's still essential. So it's gonna find its way, and it's gonna find its way to bigger audience and more things, especially Black music. So I'm just excited. I'm thankful to you for doing what you do for it.
Yep, and as a supporter of R&B music, there's all these debates about R&B being dead. Like, it's not dead. Keep the faith. There's people like us out here doing the real music, like thinking about what needs to happen, not just doing whatever, but thinking about how to push this thing forward. We're not the only ones, but we're some of the ones doing it. So just stick with us and spread the word, because we literally are trying to change how people view this through greatness. So people know we're not quitting, so y'all can't quit.
We're going to keep it going, guys. And once again, appreciate you. Look forward to linking up once again when this is all over and we could all, you know, interact again in person. And, you know, stay safe in the meantime.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Take care, guys.
All right, man.